Hello and good morning and welcome to Interactive Futures 2021. I'm Matt Weston. I'm the Member of Parliament for Warwick and Leamington, and I'm delighted to be opening the conference today. And can I congratulate the local authorities and sponsors for organising this event? It shows vision and an appreciation of the sector, clearly important to the economy and culture in our community. Today, I want to speak on a local vision for the future. And clearly, there is much I could speak to this morning, but it would be remiss of me not to reflect on the fantastic industry that we boast here in Leamington and its environs. That said, I also want to consider some of the challenges and opportunities that we face as a sector, as well as society, and leave you with some thoughts. But first, let me start by talking about the economic, political, and legal landscape, because it is crucial to the future of the sector. And yesterday's news regarding a draft decision for a data adequacy agreement with the European Union is of considerable importance. It is positive in that Brussels is set to allow data to continue to flow freely from the EU to the UK after all, although this arrangement will be reviewed every 4 years, underlining just how fluid the landscape is right now. But of course, the UK is and remains a major player internationally, and particularly when you consider the number of companies we have here relative to our gross domestic product and population. Sure, the United States has twice as many businesses, but its market is far larger than the UK. Certainly, more relevant is to look at Japan and Germany to understand the scale of our sector here, which helps explain why so many nations envy greatly the commercial success we enjoy globally. But these countries are eager to grab market share, and many, such as Canada, Sweden, and East European nations, are making determined efforts to attract UK companies and your talent to relocate through fiscal incentives, but also through easy visas. And these are themes among many that I discuss regularly with UKIE. This is why the sector-specific VGTR tax relief is so important. Just in August 2020, the government revealed that £355 million was spent making more than 150 video games in the UK that claimed tax relief in the previous year. In fact, since its introduction in 2014, just under £4 billion has been spent making 1,400 video games using the relief. All this is good, but as you'll be well aware, other nations are throwing some serious money at the industry to lure you away from these shores. So it is incumbent on people like me to ensure that the business environment is attractive to you, not only to remain here, but that you continue to invest here in Warwick and Leamington, in Silicon Spa. And there is much I can do to help you, whether it be raising issues in Parliament on the macro scale to helping you with your plans here in our towns. Not only do I meet regularly with UKIE, but I'm also a member of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Video Games and Esports, which seeks to champion the sector in Parliament while hearing the issues and challenges that you face and what can be done to ensure your continued success. And one such challenge is the online harms legislation, which continues to develop with significant implications for the sector. However, while it seems that the government is considering appointing Ofcom as the new online harms regulator, it is my understanding that there is a lack of sufficient evidence on the impact of excessive screen time and designed addiction, such that the government is not planning to impose legal requirements on businesses on this issue. That said, it does not appear to be an issue that is going away, and I'm sure it is something that we will continue to debate for many months to come. No speech these days would be complete without a review of the challenges that we presently face. And it is clear that while for many businesses the pandemic has been incredibly hard, the games sector has been relatively buoyant, but also challenging. As you know, many people have been turning to video games and esports in the period to stay socially connected, to maintain their mental well-being and keep entertained, especially given that so much of traditional sport has been closed down for long periods and suffered so greatly. But I was particularly impressed by the initiative shown during the crisis and the recognition of the sector's responsibility by taking various actions to help support players, people, and public health, including the campaign Games for Carers, providing tens of thousands of free games to frontline NHS heroes donated from across the industry. Elsewhere, there was the establishment of the partnership between leading games companies and the UK government to place essential public health messaging in games that enabled millions to be reached. And then there were local games companies, such as Playground Games, partnering with local food providers to give away free lunches to children eligible for free school meals. Thank you for what you have done and continue to do. Naturally, I'm proud of the contribution you have made, not just to these initiatives, of course, but that you continue to make to the UK economy, our regional economy, and to the reputation of our area. You bring a buzz, a vitality and vigor that helps make this such a special part of the country. And for this, our community is eternally grateful to the extraordinary enterprise of both David and Richard Darling, starting up Codemasters, 40 years ago, probably more or less to the month, but then having the good sense and vision to locate themselves here as opposed to Banbury or, say, London. They then had the foresight to hire the hugely talented Philip and Nicholas Oliver, and from that Silicon Spring would gush Silicon Spa. Naturally, other developers were then attracted to the area, with Leamington an obvious choice due to its reputation for great bars and nightlife, establishing a hotbed of talent. And today, the Silicon Spa cluster employs over 2,000 highly skilled people in 32 studios, equating to over 10% of the UK total in games development. And when viewed per capita, it is the highest in the country. Now that's some sector clout, and the businesses and talent are well recognized by the big players, with EA's acquisition of Codemasters in recent weeks the latest big name to invest here. But it's also worth noting that the traditional automotive industry based in the area also provides for a fusion of skills and talent, with Jaguar Land Rover and Aston Martin down the road. The steady stream of engineers and specialists working at their Gaydon hubs has a knock-on effect for the games industry, with talent switching between the industries. This is all fortuitous, an accident of good fortune rather than by design. Back in 2008, indeed a long time before I became the MP, or indeed drawn to politics, I was talking to the local council about putting Warwick and Leamington on the map. I could see the diversity and richness of talent, the breadth and opportunity of business, but also the phenomenal skills pool here in the community. At the time, I was a mere resident, I was talking to Sir James Dyson to get him to invest here, but the global financial crash sadly put paid to that. See, I have long held that locally we have the businesses, the people and the educational resource to lead the way. And that is why I'm keen to work with local schools, Warwickshire College Group and both Warwick and Coventry universities to encourage young people into engineering, coding and the creative sectors. In the past, I've introduced Imagineering into a primary school to get young minds thinking and problem solving, as I want us to develop the homegrown talent wherever possible to deliver your future workforce. And I'm proud that Warwickshire College, one of the finest FE colleges, probably the finest, if I may say, that leads with its games, art and design course that helps feed into the skills pool. But I am nothing if not ambitious for our area and slightly green with envy at the work being done by games industry veteran Ian Livingston, spearheading a project that will open a brand new UK academy dedicated to science, technology and digital skills. Sadly, this is what I was envisioning back in 2008 with James Dyson and Warwickshire College and the University of Warwick. But I'm determined that this can still happen, and I will be redoubling my efforts for this to become a reality. And I believe that finally, with the development of Leamington's creative quarter through the regeneration of Old Town, we can build upon and reinforce the importance of the creative and digital industries in the town and attract inward investment in the cultural and creative sectors. And with costs so significantly lower than in London or the Southeast, there are good, simple financial reasons for businesses to locate here. I can honestly say that having lived in London and Paris, that Leamington is absolutely the place to be. Wider issues remain for the industry, however, and we need to not just maintain the video games tax relief, but also to look to deepen the UK Games Development Fund with an increase in government investment in intellectual property, while providing greater support for trade and investment activity. And when it comes to skills, it would be good to see the government match fund an industry-led skills program, as well as ensuring UK businesses can continue to attract the best of global talent through sensible, business-friendly immigration policies. Let me just say a few words on opportunities. In my opening remarks, I mentioned that I wanted to speak to not just the business landscape and a vision for the future, but also to opportunities. And the pandemic has changed the way many of us view community and the workplace. Your industry has long played an important role in presenting ethical questions for gamers and challenging people to think and problem solve. And I would be interested to know how the huge challenges of this pandemic relate to the industry and to future games. There is much to reflect on and learn from what has happened, how it is reshaping our lives in so many respects. And it is something I would like to pick up on again in future. Similarly, the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement in the past year is something that affects all of us. and I'm reminded of the relatively low representation of women and ethnic minorities in the industry. So I hope the sector will continue to address this area and work proactively to reflect the great diversity in our country. That will be to the good of all. Finally, I mentioned earlier about wanting to help you. And with 19% of our games employees from the EU, EEA, and a further 9% from the rest of the world, please let me know of any immigration issues that I may be able to assist you with, or any other matter. Because I'm reminded of one company's relocation, which was going to be delayed due to a lack of power to their new site. They mentioned it to me, and I was able to get the power company to make it happen in a matter of weeks, not the 6 months they had been quoting. So when this pandemic eases and we are able to return to workplaces, I hope I can get to visit more of you. Please get in touch. And can I just say to David Darling, I'm sincere in my request. I've got to have a demonstration sometime of Rockstar Ate My Hamster. It just seems unimaginable. Thank you again to all the organizers. Thanks to the sponsors. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day and have a fantastic few days.